Hi, I'm Todd Heitkamp, the owner of Dakota Angler here in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Well, I'd like to welcome you to the first edition of Todd's Tackle Tips. And this segment, what we're going to do is try to show you some of the new things out there in the market and also how to use them. And hopefully when I get out there and hit the water, I'll be able to give you a few tips while catching a few fish. But the first edition, I want to mainly talk about some of the presentations that we use during the springtime. One of the first presentations I'd like to show you and talk to you about is really the infamous jig and minnow. This time of year, you grab any type of jig, and these are jigs from Northland, the gumballs. Any jig will actually work. It's basically a bait transfer system, and this time of year, jigs and minnows work fantastic. Also, you can use a jig and a twister tail. My grandfather used to use those many years ago, and they still work today, especially this time of year. There's many companies that make twister tails. You have Yum. You also have Mr. Twister. You have the Kalen's jigging grub. There's a number of them out there, and some of them have a scent, such as the power bait twister tail. So there are a number of wide assortments out there and a number of different colors. So those are the things that you need to keep in mind. Also, this year we have a new grub, new twister tail, and it's called the Seismic Grub by Kalen's and Uncle Josh. Stop on by and take a look, because that twister tail has a unique shape to it and really has been driving the fish crazy this spring. Well, since we're talking about plastics, I also thought I'd talk to you about one of my other favorite presentations, not only this time of year, but throughout the entire year, and that's throwing swim baits. This time of year, really, the fish are aggressive during the spawn, and they really attack that swim bait. And some of those swim baits that we carry here, power bait ones by Berkeley, have been very, very popular the past couple of years. The ripple shads have been really working quite well, and they come in a number of different sizes, the 3 and 4 inch, as well as a number of colors. Also, last year we started carrying the Beef Fishing's Pulsar paddle tails. Have been working really well. Again, coming in a number of different colors, work fantastic out there. The unique body shape gives them a little bit more vibration. So again, stop on by and take a look at these. New this year is by Lunker Hunt. These swim baits have been unbelievable so far this year. These are the swim bentos. There's also a split tail version of this. Unbelievable lifelike images, to say the least, on swim baits. And the jig that you really want to use is any type of swim bait jig. BMC came out with a new one this year. Unbelievable. High quality hook. Has 2 bait keepers on there to keep your plastic swim bait in place. So again, stop on by and take a look at all these swim baits, because again, they're becoming more and more popular, and they can be used throughout the entire year. Once you start using them, you won't go back to a lot of the other different presentations. Well, I know some of you don't really like putting on the twister tail on the jig, that some of you find it a little bit difficult to even do that, as well as putting a swim bait on the jig. So we sell pre-rigged versions of that as well. Whether or not you're talking about a jig and twister tail, we have the pre-rigged version of that. Also a jig, the swim jig, and the swim bait, we also have that. Here's a version of from Power Bait. Again, using the ripple shad. Stop on by and take a look at that. Also, one of the more popular pre-rigged swim baits that we sell is the Mimic Minnow from Northland. These baits continue to do really well for a wide variety of fish, not only walleyes, but smallmouth bass, largemouth bass, crappies, you name it. Stop on by and take a look at the different colors and the different sizes that we actually have here at the store. Also, the main thing is whether or not we're talking about a jig and minnow, or jig and a twister tail, or a swim bait jig and a swim bait. The key is making sure that hook is sharp. So before you put that bait on that hook, or before you put that plastic on the jig, make sure your point of that jig is very, very sharp. Well, folks, I hope you enjoyed the first edition of Todd's Tackle Tips, and sorry about the name, but honestly I couldn't come up with anything else, if you know what I mean. If you have any ideas of different topics that you would like me to discuss, send it to me at todd@dakotaangler.com, or when you stop by here at the store, just let us know. I'd be more than happy to talk about what you would like us to discuss. Well, for Dakota Angler, I'm Todd Heitkamp. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time on Todd's Tackle Tips. Take care. We'll see you next time.